What are you gonna do? It's a slow week, so I thought I'd jump on here and review a movie that nobody's seen, in the theaters at least. Alice Darling, starring one of our faves, Anna Kendrick. This film is centered around a troubled young woman played by Anna Kendrick who is in this abusive relationship. She is emotionally drained and wants to sneak away with her two besties to get some peace of mind away from this man that she feels trapped in this relationship with. And so to peel away, she must lie to him to tell her she tells him that she's going on a work trip, but he monitors her every move and tries to convince her to get out of it, but she doesn't, and so she goes away with her friends on this much needed retreat for one of her friends' birthday. But because he is so emotionally draining on her, even from a distance, she confesses that she lied about this trip and that she's away with her best friends, and he comes to surprise them. His presence is or feels domineering at times. The impact of his presence isn't to the point where we have definitive proof that he was very emotionally abusive to her. There are microaggressions, but we're led to believe that they're there more than we actually see them. I think that's the issue. The problem I have with the larger concept of this film, I think, scratch that. I think the concept of the film is great because it shows that it can be in emotionally draining relationships that are very abusive and very terrifying. I just don't think that the director, Mary Nye, set the tone for this film to discuss that type of narrative. That's a deep narrative that deserved a lot more than what's here. This is a skeletal story of the larger conversation of these emotionally abusive relationships. And so I don't think that this story served that narrative, and it definitely didn't serve the character played by Anna Kendrick, because we see these microaggressions by her boyfriend, but we don't see them play out. We are only led by our imagination because especially many of us have been in these types of relationships. So it plays on the emotions we have instead of, people who are being, they're transferring their pain on their friends and family. The problem I had is that Anna Kendrick's character transfers this pain in a way that she is an unlikable character. Most of the film, she's not a good friend, and her two friends are doing everything to intervene to prove to her that she is worth more and worth more than what she's settling for with this guy. I get that, but so much the audience has to do so much work to get there. I felt like she was an unlikable character because she was she wasn't a good friend. She wasn't a good friend, and most of the scenes are with her friend. And so I just don't think that the character development was there. I don't think the screenplay went in the right direction. That's in my opinion. These were women filmmakers, and I think a lot of what could have played out in this film was missing. Again, this is a skeletal story. And then the ending is so commercialized and faint with feeling. So the ending is it just left me wanting more. There's not a whole lot there. And it seemed like a cop out, like they ran out of budget and ran out of time. I think Anna Kendrick does a decent job in the role, but there's not much meat on the bones for her to really do, again, a deep dive into what the audience deserved if they were going to tell a story so powerful. A story that is supposed to resonate with most of us. I just don't think enough was there. And another issue I had is I did see this trailer. The trailer paints a totally different picture. I mean, it's a different movie practically because it's taking bits. It took cuts of the film that are in this movie, but it doesn't feel like it belongs. The trailer again tells a totally different story. From the trailer, I thought this was going to be more like Gone Girl, more like Sleeping with the Enemy. It's nowhere near any of those films. And there are pieces in this film, like there's a missing girl, that art goes absolutely nowhere, and it's just like disappointing to know that all of these pieces of a puzzle were there and they just don't fit. All in all, I saw this film. I didn't see it in the theaters. I did screen this film, but I didn't even want to discuss it because I really don't rag. I don't like ragging on films like this in particular, but specifically when there are women filmmakers involved. It's just that the execution of this film wasn't there. I think it's poorly executed, and I think the direction of the screenplay it just went in the wrong direction. It wasn't fulfilling the way I thought it deserved to be based on the root of the story, the bones of the story. I just think it wasn't there. At any rate, this film, Alice Darling, is no longer in theaters. No one went to see it in the theaters. It is now streaming. You might want to wait until it drops on like Netflix or HBO.